What I want to share with you today, and I love that introduction from Nick, but when we talk about being an entrepreneur, right, it's never really about the outcome, it's the journey. And one of the most overused phrases that I see today is trust the process, right? They say it, but we'll see how much you love it when I'm done. So trusting the process is something that we all want to do and that we're told to do. But if I was your leader, I was your CEO, and I said to you, trust the process, how would that make you feel? Part of it puts it back on you, right? You feel like you're not owning the process. You're not up for the struggle. You're not surviving in the struggle zone. But what if that leader has bad intentions? What if that leader is taking you to the wrong place? I wanted to get to California yesterday. Well, if I was driving to Florida, no matter how much I love the process, I wouldn't have reached the right destination, right? And so the point of that is what process are you trusting? Now, what I don't want you to do is become a skeptic and thinking that, hey, this person has bad intentions, because most of my success has come through a bad situation. But what we teach at the House of Bricks is how to turn every experience into a competitive advantage. And so who do you trust? Who do you trust? Do you trust the leader? Do you trust the people around you? Do you trust your community? It starts with trusting yourself. You have to be able to trust yourself. And you're going to fail yourself a lot. You're going to fail yourself most of the time. But for me, and it's been a common theme here today, is why do I have unshakable trust? Why do I have unbreakable confidence? It's because I believe in God. I believe He created me for a purpose. And when I have that confidence that His plans are greater than my plans, then I'm 100% confident in myself. So no matter what process I'm in, no matter what situation I'm in, I look to God who gives me my confidence, okay? And I want to tell you a little personal story, and this has been a common theme today as well. As Nick mentioned, I started at a very young age. I was fortunate to work for Dan Gilbert in high school, who's the founder of Rocket Mortgage, owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it was like a crash course MBA in being an entrepreneur. And so I checked out college for a year, decided it wasn't for me. I dropped out, moved to South Florida, started my first business out of my apartment, a couple $100. It had 2 bedrooms. One I slept in, the other I turned into my office. And I was in that office bedroom doing what every entrepreneur does. We fake it till we make it. I had 3 phone extensions set up, and I'm kind of dating myself right now. This was early 90s, okay? And one was sales, one was marketing, and one was my manager, Bob. Well, I didn't have a manager, Bob. But whenever there was a complaint, say, sure, hold on, let me transfer you to Bob. There goes the phone over this other extension. Hey, this is Bob. Yeah, Adam's one of our best guys. Even though I was the only person in the company, I was faking it till I made it, right? And I climbed that mountain of being an entrepreneur. And our business was selling leads to mortgage companies. And for those of you that are old enough to realize, in 2007, it was a financial crisis, right? And I went to look to exit my business, and there were rumblings around the market collapsing. And of course, selling leads to mortgage companies, they're the first ones that are going to be out of business. So all this fear came over me, all of this anxiety, and I was able to exit that business. And it was a multi-million-dollar exit. And I thought, I have made it. I have what I want. And I had a condo in Miami Beach overlooking Key Biscayne, Fisher Island, courtside seats to the Miami Heat. I was the chaplain for the team, beautiful wife, son on the way. And I walked into that apartment, and it's as beautiful as this, right? Looking over Key Biscayne, Fisher Island, government cut, cruise ships going by. And I walked in that apartment, and I said, God, if this is all that you have for me, I don't want it. Because I have given everything in who I am to this. Now I have it. What is my purpose in life? What is it that you have for me? So like any normal entrepreneur, most guys buy a Ferrari or trade in their wife for a different one. I chose to go a different path because I've seen where that leads. And I said to her, I want you to take the dog, go over to your dad's house. I'm going to fast on the balcony for 3 days. Okay? And if you've ever been to Miami in the summer, you know it rains every afternoon at 3 o'clock. So I didn't really think this through. Okay? So I go out there with my yoga mat. I've got my, I think it was iPod at the time. And I was like, God, if you don't give me my purpose, I'm not leaving this balcony. I'm going to wrestle with you until you give me my purpose. And so, sure enough, 3:30 in the afternoon, it starts raining in Miami, but I never quit. Okay, so I'm out on the balcony. I'm going to do this thing. And about a day and a half in, I stayed out there, and I felt this small voice. It wasn't a burning bush or, God appeared in a cloud or anything like that, but God spoke to me, and he said, Adam, you hate your father. You hate your father. And that was all that he gave me in that entire 3 days. And what I realized is that living in unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And so that was eating me alive. Exactly what Jeremy shared. I mean, there's a common theme here. None of this was planned today, but there's a purpose being shared, right? We were all created for something great. We have a story that we can tell, and only the way that we can tell it to inspire a specific person at a specific time. So I share some of my success, but it's not about me. It's about me telling my accomplishments to inspire you to be what it is that you were called to be. I never wanted my name in lights. I never wanted to do this. I never wanted to build a community. God just gave me a great name to build a community. And so we came up with the House of Bricks. So there's 3 pillars that I want to talk about with you today. Number 1 is that faith and fear always coexist. So whenever you have an opportunity, you're going to have faith. You're going to have fear. It's up to you to choose who's going to drive the car you're driving, who's going to lead you to the right destination. Even if you're in a bad process, if you have faith, you can turn it into a competitive advantage. So I want you to write down today, what are some things that you want to do that you've been putting off? What are the things that you think you should do, but you're not doing? And faith and fear are going to coexist. And to the degree of fear is the degree of opportunity in front of you. Some people talk about unbelief. Well, I can tell you today that it is impossible to have unbelief. Unbelief is still a belief system. You're choosing to let fear drive the train. And so it's up to you to do that. They coexist. There's always that choice that you have. That's the first pillar in how to build a strong foundation. The second pillar I want to talk to you about is relationship capital. Okay? Relationship capital is the most valuable capital in the world. And you can create a 10x flywheel for your life. I call it the relationship capital flywheel. If someone else has made that up, I haven't heard it, so I'm trademarking it here today. It's on camera. I thought about it this weekend. The relationship capital flywheel. Forget about Jeff Bezos with his little flywheel and Amazon. Maybe that worked for him, maybe it didn't. I don't know. This is more powerful than the Amazon flywheel, okay? The first thing you have to do is find a mentor. Who is where you want to go? It's why I'm here today. And David's not in here, but I was going to say, hey, David, thanks for being a mentor, because he's opening doors for me that I would never get through. And I've always had that in my life, just the right people at the right time in the right place that have opened the right doors for the right opportunity. The second is you have to have peers, people you're climbing the mountain together with. And I don't view myself as a mentor. Yes, I'm helping entrepreneurs and empowering them. And it's because I've paid, another quote of David's is a lot of dummy tax. Okay, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I use those mistakes to shortcut the process for other entrepreneurs. So you've got your mentor. Okay, you've got your peers. We're climbing the mountain together. Everyone in this room, we're trying to make an impact. The third is where a lot of people miss out. Any guesses? It's mentoring other people. And a lot of us have profile envy. We have self-limiting beliefs where we don't think we're qualified to mentor someone else. But even if you don't have a job or have a job at a gas station, you can help someone that doesn't have a job find a job at a gas station. Okay? So now this flywheel is starting to spin for me. I've got my mentor. I've got my peers. I'm helping someone else. And helping someone else makes me a better person. If you have authenticity, integrity, character, they're going to hold you accountable. Because I'm going to tell them to do certain things and it's going to come back to me. Well, I want to do that too. And you learn by teaching. You learn more by teaching other people and it will hold you accountable. And at the center of this flywheel is the most important person in the room. It's you. You are the most important person to the outcome of your life. And if you're a mess, you're going to wreck your mentor, right? Like, hey, man, I don't want to mentor you anymore. This guy's not even leading himself. It's the best form of leadership is self-leadership, okay? So if I'm at the center of this flywheel and I'm not in a good spot, I'm spinning it and I'm destroying everyone around us. So that is the relationship capital flywheel. So the first pillar, we've got faith and fear always coexist. The second is relationship capital. And I'm going to tell you what unlocked my relationship capital. So I told you this story about hating my dad and the unforgiveness. So I flew to New York City. I had a mobile technology company. We were selling optimized websites for mobile. So this is before HTML5. In 2009, if you bought an iPhone, you remember all these websites were designed for desktop-sized screens. So I go to the USGA, we close a deal, get their mobile scoring, come back, New York City, get a phone call. And it was a voicemail, said, hey, call me back, your dad fell. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, he was an alcoholic and just figured, something happened, whatever. I call back and like, your dad just dropped dead of a heart attack in the driveway. And he had just purchased 2 airline tickets to fly down and see my son for the first time. And I'm going to tell you how cold I was on the inside when this happened. I walked into the restaurant. I had my CTO, my CEO, COO, and I sat down and we were at Jackson Hole in New York City, the burger place. And I was like, yeah, what'd you guys order? I ordered my burger. And they were like, well, who was that on the phone? I was like, oh, my dad just passed away. Didn't even flinch. Didn't even affect me. Started eating my burger. We had 2 more meetings to raise capital with venture capitalists. Went in, closed both of those deals. And finally, at 5 o'clock, my COO looks at me and he's like, Adam, you need to go to Detroit. Your dad just died. And I was like, oh my gosh, it hadn't even hit me. And so I was like, can I make it to Newark by 7 o'clock? He was familiar with New York City. 5 o'clock in New York City is not a good time to try to get to the train station. So I'm looking around, bumper to bumper traffic. The only way I thought I could make it was to take a rickshaw. And so imagine this, I've got my suitcase, I'm driving through New York City, my dad just passed away, and my whole life had flashed before me. And what I learned in that moment, it was not about what I had, but it was who I could impact, okay? And our impact in life is what is going to change the people around you. Your legacy is not a deathbed decision. It's not something you leave behind, okay? It's something that you live, because what you leave behind will eventually go away. But who you are and the story that you tell is what is going to change generations. So your legacy is not a deathbed decision. And David has walked in the room. I'm thanking mentors, David. You missed it, but thank you, David, for being a mentor, because like I said, he's opening up doors for me that I couldn't walk through. And that's what's spinning my relationship capital flywheel, okay? So we've got faith and fear coexist. First pillar, they always coexist. Degree of fear, degree of opportunity. The more afraid that you get, the better opportunity that is on the other side. It's your choice. Relationship capital, mentor, peers to climb the mountain, someone else to mentor. I have people that I mentor. I tell them to mentor other people. It's a ripple effect. You don't have to be at X level to help other people. And the third pillar is finding your why not, okay? There is this message that has destroyed a generation of people that are looking for their why. They're still in their parents' basement playing Xbox at 28 years old. I can imagine going to my dad and saying, hey, Dad, I'm looking for my why. I think I want to take a year off. He would take me to the mirror and be like, your why's right there, buddy. Now get to work, you know? So like, we're looking for our why. And I have lived my life on the why not. Why not start a company when you're 19 with $200? Why not start a mobile technology company with no background in mobile healthcare? Why not play professional basketball at 32 years old? Yes, I did. Yes, I'm 6 feet tall. So when I sold my company to Akamai, I was 32 years old. And after about 2 weeks in the house, my wife says to me, and listen, every entrepreneur, we're great delegators, okay? But I promise you, do not delegate things to your wife, okay? So I'd wake up with a to-do list, and I don't do it. I was just saying, hey, you should do this, you should do that. So I ducked from the frying pan that she threw at me when I tried to assign her something to do, and she's like, you need a job. And so I played basketball in high school, my freshman year of college, and I said, well, I'm good enough. If I train hard enough, I could probably make some minor league basketball team somewhere. So long story short, ended up going to a combine in Dayton, Ohio. There were 34 D1 mid-major players. I ended up getting an invite to the Rochester Razor Sharks in New York, made the team, and lived a lifelong dream of playing professional basketball at 32. So that was my why not. After that, why not start a healthcare company with no business in healthcare from a napkin? And that company is now publicly traded. So napkin to NASDAQ, right? And now I'm on my 7th startup with no experience in building communities. But we're building a community, we're coaching entrepreneurs. So I have always lived in my why not. If you search for your why, you will continue to look and continue to search, but your why will come through progress, okay? We all start a business, we all start a venture with a dream, but those dreams will meet reality, especially in entrepreneurship. And that's how we came up with our simple framework at the House of Bricks. So the S stands for strategy. You have to know where you're going. If you're trying to get to California but headed towards Florida, it's the wrong destination. Now, how you get there is going to change. So you set your destination, start making progress. The I stands for innovation. You have to test, you have to fail, you have to learn, you have to grow, and continuing to make decisions. The more decisions you make, the more action it creates. That action creates feedback and helps you make further progress down the road. The M is perfectly placed in the middle because you have to have a strong mindset. You have to have a strong mindset as an entrepreneur. And how do you keep a strong mindset? You have mentors. You have peers you're climbing the mountain with. You have other people you're helping. And then the most important part of that relationship capital flywheel is you. You have to lead yourself and how you want to lead other people. Okay? So we've got the right strategy, innovation, right mindset. Now you can look for patterns in your business. Like Jay was talking earlier, he's helped thousands of companies. I've started 6 companies in 6 industries, right? There's patterns in business. You can look back and see what worked, what didn't, and continue to lean into those. And most importantly, is to stop doing the things that don't help, that don't work, that don't make progress. The L stands for leverage. All of us want to leverage too soon. Every entrepreneur wants a 10x way to grow their business. There are no 10x gimmicks. If I knew how to 10x your business at the beginning, I wouldn't be here. I'd be on a beach somewhere just recording videos on how to 10x your business, especially in social media, building a personal brand. If you try any of that, you will see there's a lot of 10x opportunities out there. None of them work. I will save you the money. Leverage comes through the compound effect of doing the small things every day, consistently over time. That is what is going to make your business leverage. And last but not least is execution. Notice how the E is not at the beginning. First of all, it's because how you spell simple, but it is perfectly placed. I couldn't have come up with a better acronym. at the beginning, you're executing on the wrong things most of the time. You're wrong in where you want to go. You're wrong in how you're going to get there. So you have to test, fail, learn, grow in the innovation stage, right, for the I. But the execution, once you have it figured out, how you're going to leverage, what patterns work, you have the right mindset, that is when you can really execute and grow your business, okay? But as you can tell, I'm a very authentic person. I'm an open book. I fail every day. Every day. I've spent 90% of my life failing. I've just never given up, and that is what has led to the successful outcomes. And so I want to do something today. I want to start spinning our relationship capital. Nick, I know I'm a minute over. Give me 1 second. Yeah, thank you. David, if I was on the 2-minute drill, I would have lost. So I'm doing my best here. So it was 20 minutes. And I coached people to do this. So bear with me. But I want to create some momentum here today. We came here for a purpose. This is not a business mastermind. Okay? You can go chat GPT, your business plan. You can go read whatever book it is. We're here for a purpose. All of you are here for a specific reason today. And I shared that story with you about my dad. It still shakes me up. But I realized that the demons that he carried weren't choices necessarily he made, right? We inherit our environment. We inherit where we were brought up. And he was dealing with things in a way that only he knew how to deal with them. And we talked about earlier, the person in the tree, I think. I got lost. I can't meditate, bro. I was like, where am I right now? I'm in a garden. I'm in a tree. Where's the gate? Did someone text me? I got to work with this guy. So I kept opening my eyes. But, yeah, so now I'm lost again. But the point of that is, with my dad, like, he didn't deserve to be forgiven. He didn't deserve it, right? But in reality, who really does? We've all done things we shouldn't do. And that unforgiveness is putting you in a prison that you will never get out of. You will never reach your full potential living in bitterness and unforgiveness. And so we talked about the relationship capital flywheel. That is the most important thing that I'm talking about today. And I want you to take action. At the House of Bricks, we're all about action. Right? We don't sing kumbaya, we don't meditate. Maybe I'm going to bring this guy in to our community because I think there's other people that need this. But for me, it's about action, right? And so what I want you to do today is to take your phone. Not this second, because I want you to get distracted. Now you can pick them up. No, I'm just kidding. We're good. We're good. But on a break today, what I want you to do is I want you to text someone that has been a mentor to you. I want you to text a person that is climbing the mountain with you. I want you to text someone you're mentoring, someone's life that you can impact. And if you're not mentoring someone, take that step today. And then lastly, but not least, and entrepreneurs are terrible at this, I want you to be kind to yourself. You really have to do it. I have destroyed many people around me and myself through my fears, through my anxiety, through climbing the mountain, trying to do it alone. And they say you can go fast, go alone, go far, go together. Well, going fast alone doesn't always work, and it ends in destruction. So I want to encourage you today, go far, go together, and make an impact. Thank you.